Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second shelf and to some sort of a tag. If you follow my channel, and if you don't, and you just look at the videos that I've filmed this year, I'm not big on tags. I'm just not. I have these regular things that I want to talk to you about, and then I just can't fit tags in. And often the questions don't really work for me. But it is only a little less than 7 weeks left in 2023. Can you believe it? And a lot of people start to do this very regular tag that always starts to pop up in November, and that's the end of the year book tag, where people look at the remaining couple of weeks and think about what they want to achieve reading wise before the year is out. And I always like this tag, and I want to talk indeed with you about my reading plans for the last 6.5 weeks of 2023. So I will answer some of the questions, but not all of them. I have no idea who originated that tag way back when, but I will leave the real prompts. I think it's 6 or 7. 6 real prompts. I will leave them down below, and if you're interested, if you type in YouTube end of the year book tag, you will see a lot of content creators talking about it, and will talk about it in the next couple of weeks. We'll also leave a link to my goals video that I film at the beginning of each year. So if you're interested to check out what were her goals, I will leave a link to that. But I won't talk about reading goals here in this video in terms of one of my goals was, to achieve a certain number of books, or read a certain type of book like books originating from authors from the global south, stuff like that. That's more the general goals that I had. And if I didn't do anything with those goals in the previous, 10.5 months, I'm not going to achieve anything in the remaining 6 weeks. So that's why I like this tag, because it's focusing more on specific books or specific goals. And the first question I will indeed answer: are there any books you've started this year that you still need to finish? First of all, I don't need to finish anything. So I take this question to mean that you want to finish or would like to finish. And I'd always do that towards the end of the year, that I look at the pile of unread books. I also, just yesterday, I looked at my bookcase, the books that I want to unhaul, also the unread books, and I picked 30, little more than 30 books off my shelves. I do that not that often, but once a year, either towards the end of the year or the beginning of the new year. And that is also the time that I look at books that I have started and for some reason put away, put aside, and then did not pick up. And I have 2. And I think they both have been lingering on my shelves for the better part of the year, at least 3, 4, 5 months. And the first one is Selby Schwartz, After Sappho, and this book was published, let me check, in 2022. So I think I bought that fairly soon after it has been published. So I think it's probably one of the books at the beginning of the year. It's the author, I didn't know the author, and I think it's her first book. I'm pretty sure it's her first book. Yeah, I'm prepared as always. It's unbelievable how well prepared I am. no, there's nothing in here about the author. That's great, just the acknowledgements. Well, we're just going to roll with it. But the premise grabbed me. It's the idea that you look at women after Sappho, who were kind of feminists, more or less, and who were writers, and think about their achievement or what they wanted or what, their life was like in a fictionalized way. So it says, it's about Sarah Bernhardt, the not only writers, by the way, because she is an actress, or she was an actress, Colette, Virginia Woolf, Josephine Bakers. These are just a few of the women sharing the pages of a book as fierce as it is luminous. Yes, yes, yes. Selby Schwartz has created a novel that celebrates the women and trailblazers of the past. So focusing on artists and after the most famous probably female artist from the ancient times, Sappho. And I read maybe 30 or 50 pages of it and really, really enjoyed it. And then, as sometimes happens, I'm sure it happens to you as well, to most of us, you read a book, you really like it, you put it down, and for some reason you don't pick it up again. And for me, it always works that if I don't pick it up within a week, it will stay on the shelf, most likely. So there was no reason why this happened with this book, like I said, because I really enjoyed it. So I would definitely like to finish this book in 2023. The same thing happened with this. The book of Anna by Carmen Bulosa, translated from the Spanish by Samantha Schnee. Carmen Bulosa is a contemporary Mexican author. I have never read her. This was a recommendation from Stephanie of A Time to Read. And I picked this up in the spring or mid-year or something. So it's not, it hasn't been quite as long on the shelf as this one, but it has been some time. It's a book about a book. Anna, the main character of Tolstoy's Anna Karenina, and in the novel, Tolstoy's novel, there is the suggestion that Anna actually was working on a novel. So this book takes that and then also makes a novel. I'm just getting rid of stuff that irritates me here. Sorry, around that. So what does it mean to say that a fictional character has so infused our collective imagination that she's taken on a life of her own? So that is the central question. And again, I read about 20 pages maybe, and this is a slim little book. It's only under 200 pages, and really liked it. I liked the style. I was interested in the premise. That's why I picked it up after I heard Stephanie talk about it. And the same thing happened here as with the other book. I put it down for whatever reason and didn't pick it back up again. So this is the second book. These two, I would be really happy if I'd be, finishing them before the year is out. Let's see, what else is the tag about? Autumnal book to transition into the end of the year. That's not my thing. You know me. That's not. No. The new release I will talk about at the end. Then the other thing I want to talk about are the books that you want to read before the end of the year. I mean, I want to read those two, but more books that I haven't started yet. And there is this one that I picked up also, I think in the spring, If an Egyptian Cannot Speak English by Noor Naga. She's an Alexandrian writer and author of novels in verse. I have not read anything by her. I picked this book up for the project. It's published by Grey Wolf, and I picked this up because one of my reading projects this year was try to get into indie publishers. And it sounded really interesting. In post-Arab Spring Cairo, two unnamed characters meet and fall in love. And she is the daughter of an Egyptian immigrant who returned to a country, and he is a photographer. So, that Arab Spring theme, but also migration art, because he's a photographer. It sounded really interesting. I bought it, put it on the shelf, and have to admit, really forgot all about it. So it's good that I look at my shelves at least once a year thoroughly to see, what is on there that I kind of have forgotten. So I would really like to read this before the year is out. And another thing that I would want to read has to do with two projects. And I said in the beginning, I'm not going to talk about projects. And then I do. So I had two bigger projects for this year. And one was that I picked 12 classics that I wanted to read this year. Fell off the wagon with this project in September. Realized 12 is too much, and I'm not going to do 12 next year. It's probably going to be 6. But that was one project. And the other project was, of course, the ongoing project, 1001 Women, books by female authors that I want to read before I die. So I want to read at least one more of the classics so that I end up with 10. That number sort of pleases me. And the one I would want to pick up is Margaret Cavendish, The Blazing World and Other Writings, published in 1666. And Margaret Cavendish has been interesting me for a really, really long time. I think she's a fascinating character. The Blazing World is one of the first sci-fi novels ever to be written. And yeah, it's not that I'm not interested, but 12 was just a bit much, but I think I can fit in one more, and probably in December. And this also qualifies for the 1001 challenge. And I have to put the blame on one of my subscribers, viewers, Lori from Hey, It's Lori. If you're watching, Lori, it's all your fault, because I talked about this challenge. I used to even make separate videos about this challenge, and then I incorporated the challenge into my recent reads because that worked better for me. But at some point I talked about numbers, how many books I read and how many books are still unread. And then Lori came up with, well, if you read a certain amount, I think it was probably in the summer, then you would end up with 501. So 500 read and 501 left to read. And that she thought that was a great number. And I thought so too. So I would really like to end the year on these two numbers. And that would mean, as it is now, I think I would have to read 6 more off the list. And that should be possible. It's only mid-November. So that is also a reason why I want to read this, because this is kind of, the one fly, two stone thing. So yeah, those are the books that I want to finish, or the projects that I really want to wrap up in a way that is satisfactory to me. There's no book that I think will become a favorite. Every book that I read, I sort of expect or hope it will become a new favorite. But I still have to answer the new release question. And again, I'm not looking forward to a specific new release, but there is a release that has been released already that I haven't read yet. And I will probably not be able to read it in 2023, so it might be carried over in 2024, also because it's really expensive. But it's a new release I was really looking forward to when I heard about it, and that is Emily Wilson's translation of the Iliad. If you follow my channel, you know how much I loved her translation on the Odyssey that was published a couple of years back. And when the Odyssey was published, she also announced that she was working on the Iliad. That was more, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago. And then beginning of this year, it was announced that the Iliad by Emily Wilson, translated by Emily Wilson, will be published in September. And I haven't bought it yet, but I'm really excited to get into the book. But if it happens in 2023, I'm not really sure. I don't know. We'll see. But it will keep. It's a classic, so it will keep. And then the last question is whether I'm already making plans for 2024. Of course. I mean, is this a trick question? It's mid of November. Mid-November. Of course, I already told you that I will go on with the classics challenge, but in a smaller way, so not 12 classics, but probably 6. I will carry on with the 1001 challenge, of course, but there will also be a twist to that, which I will announce in December. And there are a couple of other things that I want to focus on. The indie challenge I really liked, but again, it was too broad to just say, read indie publisher and then focus on the 2 feminist publishers, Feminist Press and Virago Press. We'll see. But I'm definitely already starting to make plans, and I will make videos about that for sure. Maybe already in December. It could very well be that I will already, at least for the 1001 challenge and for the classics, I will make videos in December. Anyway, so this was my kind of sort of take, my twisted take on the end of the year book tag. Thank you very much for watching. If you are a content creator and you're thinking about what am I going to do with the last 6 weeks, please do this tag or a variation thereof that suits you. And for my viewers, thank you very much for watching. I'm looking forward to your comments, of course, and I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.